If it's playing out in a sinister way, then the shit could get really real in the next 12 months, and you do not want to own very much other than. We turned money, dollars, into toilet paper. And everyone's talking about the dollar being strong, which is comical, right? It's less weak than the yen and the euro, which is what makes up DXY. So the cult of Kelton, the modern monetary madness or modern monetary theft, is maybe the biggest policy error in the history of a really bad period since 1913, when the monster or the creature from Jekyll Island was created. But I don't feel strongly about any of that. No. The bigger problem is that we're even talking about these people, right? A friend of mine says it best, right? I remember a day when I didn't know the names of the central bankers. I longed for that day to return. And now we view them as gods and on the cover of magazines. And look, the central bank was created in 1913 to emulate the original central bank that was created in 1607 by the Rothschild family to steal the wealth from the masses and give it to the rich. That's what central banks do. And they've been doing it forever through this thing called inflation. And inflation, this idea that it's somehow good for you. It's somehow good that over a 30-year period, half of your purchasing power should be stolen. Why is that good for me? That is not good for me in any way, shape, or form. And so now it's accelerated. What happened is the toilet paper which we all spend to live got devalued. So we don't have inflation. We don't have inflation. We have currency devaluation. And this is how empires end. Every empire in the history of mankind has ended the same way. Cronyism replaces capitalism. Then the people at the top overspend. They get into debt that they can't pay back. And when you have too much debt, you have four options. You can pay it back. You could tax all the wealth of all the people in America. All the wealth, forget income, all the wealth, you could not pay the debt back. You can restructure it, but then you got to have someone take the other side. China stopped buying our debt. Russia stopped buying our debt. The only people that are buying our debt are stablecoin issuers, which is kind of interesting. The talent migration into this space that has recognized that this adoption of technology, this evolution, it's not a revolution, it's an evolution of technology, that everything of value will be a token on a blockchain. Not a coin, not a thing. It's literally a line item on a public ledger. Everything of value will be that. And every transaction of value will happen in digital assets. And the fact that, as Dan says, is happening and will continue to happen has nothing to do with the price of a coin on an exchange. And this disruption that's going to occur and is occurring isn't going to stop. No matter what the price of Bitcoin is, no matter what happens to Ethereum after the merge, who gives a hell? You think about Bitcoin, it is digital gold. Dollars are currency, yen is currency, euros are currency. They are backed by debt. They are not money. Money is gold. It has been for 5,000 years. But gold is not very divisible. It's not very portable. And so Bitcoin has a use case as digital gold. Now, gold is not money supply. Just not. It is a piece, to your point, it's the foundation, okay? Central banks own it, use it then to create fiat currency on top of that using debt. Now, could that all be replaced with stable coins and other crypto? Sure. The $64 trillion question, as far as I'm concerned, is, are we gonna have a single stack, Bitcoin, Lightning, L3, L4, all built on Bitcoin? DeFi for Bitcoin. Okay. Today, not possible. Not possible. Is it possible in the future? Don't know. But today, not possible. Or are we going to have a multi-layer stack like the internet, where you got TCP/IP, HTTP, SMTP, FTP, and www. Could be Bitcoin, Filecoin, Ethereum at the top. Maybe it's Polkadot. Maybe it's Solana. I don't know. Maybe it's Avalanche.
We can have both.
Or you have both, and that's a multi-chain world.
Yeah, you're gonna have everything.
And I don't know that we have to answer it, but the infighting and the tribalism is bad.
Ridiculous. I agree.
Bitcoin is up exactly what it should be from the beginning of the creation of money. But what happened was price does not equal value. The value of the Bitcoin network is determinable to a very high degree of certainty using Metcalfe's law, right? Number of participants, transaction size,
Exactly.
all of that is determinable.
100%.
Stocks today are overvalued relative to their value. They're in the 93rd percentile. They've only been more expensive, 7% of all of history. Today, Bitcoin is in the 2.5 percentile cheap to its history. The fair value of Bitcoin somewhere in the low 30s, high 20s. At 20,000, it's below fair value. So that's the reaction to the tightening. But if you look at, we created 50% more dollar, 50% of the dollars. Bitcoin should be up 100%. It went from 10 to 20. It's exactly where it should be. I am actually modestly concerned that the dictator playbook is being played out by the current power structure. And the dictator playbook works like this. You concentrate the wealth at the top into your cronies. You then devalue the currency and impoverish the masses, and you get them to reelect you by handing them freebies. What are we doing? We're not giving out free electricity, but we're giving out gas cards and forgiving student debt. That is buying votes. That is how you stay. I could never understood how Maduro stays in power. But you get super rich at the top, you impoverish everybody else, and you buy votes. If that's playing out, if it's playing out in a sinister way, then the shit could get really real in the next 12 months, and you do not want to own very much other than gold and Bitcoin and cash.